All right, this time we have a sale price, get a little crazy, of $970,000. We have a loan to value ratio of 65%. We have a loan factor, and I'm just completely making this one up. Let's call it 5.8. We're doing another example here. So a sale price of $970,000, a loan to value ratio of 65%, and a loan factor of 5.3. How much is the monthly payment of principal and interest?
So I got 3,656.9.
That sounds pretty good. Let me do it. Let's see. First of all, we need to use our price and our LTV to get the loan amount. And all we're going to do is multiply those together. 65%, and that is a borrowed amount, the borrowing of $630,500. Now that we know that, we can put that on the bottom. We're going to have our factor also on the bottom. Don't forget to divide this loan amount by 1,000, and that's going to give us our answer. So 630,500 divided by 1,000 is that number. Multiply that number by the factor, and I think that's the number you just said.
Yes, that's what I did.
There you go. Does that feel better?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can break most of these math problems down to no more than 3 or maybe 4 steps. So I would probably say that step 1 is this. Get the loan amount. They might be nice and tell you the loan amount, and you don't have to do the calculation for it. So watch out for that. Just because they tell you the loan amount, don't think, wait a minute, now what do I do? They might have just been cool about it. So step 1, if you don't already have the loan amount, you might have to figure it out. Step 2, identify the loan factor. Step 3, plug them in to the circle formula. And then as a little side note, don't forget to divide by 1,000. Okay. Okay. So now we know they might ask you this problem. This might be a standalone math problem to calculate the monthly principal and interest. But then another problem that would be bigger than this would be, tell us what the loan balance is after 1 month. And to do that, you need to be able to do another problem, which is you got to figure out how much of that payment is just interest alone. We know how to figure out the monthly principal and interest, but we need to remember how to calculate how much of that payment is interest only. And sorry, 1 second. To do that, we need to calculate the annual interest. So how do we calculate annual interest? How much is the interest you're paying in 1 year? Annual interest is a T formula itself. It's an interest rate on the bottom, whatever your mortgage rate is. And then it's the loan amount also on the bottom. And those two things multiplied together tell us how many dollars in interest you're paying in 1 year's time based on that specific loan amount. So here's a problem. A purchase price, sales price of 450,000. A loan to value ratio of 95%. The interest rate on the loan is, let's call it 3.5%. How much is the annual interest? Paid in dollars?
I got 14,962.
All right, first step, use the purchase price.
First,
Go ahead.
first step, I was 450 multiplied by 95%, then 427. I was divided by I was divided by 1,000, and then 427 I was multiplied for 3.5%. So I got 14,096.25.
Is that the number you got?
Yes.
So the divide by 1,000. Oh, you got four. Does your calculator say 14 point? Okay, you divided by 1,000. And that's not something you need to do in this problem, because this is a different problem than the last one. The last one was the loan factor.
Oh,
So what you need to do this time does not include dividing anything by 1,000. You just need to identify the loan amount, which we did. We've got that as 427.5. And the interest rate is what they gave us in the problem, 3.5%. And then we just multiply those two numbers together, 427.5. Oops.
I got you. Oh.
Times the 3.5%. And there it is. It's the number 14,962.50. That's the annual interest. I think what your number was 14 point, which is basically $14 or close to $15. And it's because you included that dividing by that. We don't need to do that in this problem. We divide by 1,000 on the loan factor problem because we're using a factor chart, and the chart is given in increments of 1,000. So we have to allow for that. But in this type of problem, when we're calculating annual interest, all you need is to multiply the loan amount by the interest rate.
Okay, I got it here.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. All right.
I didn't have that between.
Yes.
I had 14, then
Right.
this, and then all numbers together.
Yep, you got it. Much better. Now that we know that we're paying $14,962 a year in interest, how much per month? What's the the monthly dollars in interest.
So need to divide by 12 months.
You got it. That's all you got to do. That is correct. Just divide it by 12, and it turns that 14,000 into $1,246 and some change per month.
So that's what I got.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the same.
That is right. Mhm. So if if we do the loan factor problem, we're gonna we're calculating the monthly principal and interest using the factor, multiplying it by the loan amount divided by 1,000. Then we're going to do the annual and or monthly interest problem. And the way we get that is our annual interest that we're paying out every year is the interest rate times the loan amount. We're not dividing by 1,000 at all. So this is one kind of a problem, loan factor problem. This is another kind of one, but we're going to use both of these to solve this third kind of problem, which is how much is the loan balance after the first month, after month one, after making your first monthly payment, and maybe even after the second month too. They might ask you to do the second month. So we're going to use both of these together because this first one tells us what our monthly principal and interest is. The second one, once we know our annual interest, we can turn that into monthly interest by just dividing it by 12. And it tells us what our interest is per month. And now that we can do that, we can subtract them to find out how much our principal is coming down, right? That's kind of the whole purpose here. So on the test, you might see a question that is just this. What is the monthly P&I? We're using a loan factor. You might also see a different calculation question that is just this. What is the annual interest, or maybe what is the monthly interest given a loan amount and an interest rate? Then you might see a question that is this. How much is the loan balance after paying your first payment, or maybe your second month's payment as well? And to do this one, you got to be able to do both of these and put them together. So let's do an example of that. Are we good on annual/monthly interest? That makes sense. Just don't forget to not to divide. Don't divide that by 1,000. Okay, so the example here in the slide, we know our loan balance is 200,000. Our interest rate is 4%. It's a 30-year loan. The annual interest, we get that by multiplying the loan balance by the interest rate. That gives us our annual interest, which now we can turn into monthly interest by just dividing it by 12. So with our monthly payment, $667 of that month's payment is going to be toward interest. That's how much profit that lender's making. So there it is. We had already figured out our principal and interest payment of $956. We subtract the $667. And that means that our $200,000 loan balance is decreasing by $289 in the first month. When we make our first monthly payment, $667 of that payment is going toward interest, which means $289 of it is that much less of what you're going to owe. So let's subtract that 289 from the loan balance. And now our new loan balance after the first month is $199,711. Are we good on that? We'll do one together in a minute. I'm just recapping what we saw the other night. Now, if it says, what is the interest? I'm sorry, what is the loan balance after the second month's payment? We're going to take this new loan balance. We don't use 200,000 anymore because we don't owe them that anymore. We don't owe them that anymore. We owe them only $199,711 now because we paid $289 less dollars, right? So now we're going to use the $199,700. Go ahead. Is that a question?
What kind of number is this 289 from where?
We got that because we calculated the annual interest. Yeah, we calculated the annual interest. We realized that 8,000 per year is the same as 667 per month. And then we subtracted that 667 from the 956 total payment, P and I. And that means out of that payment, $289 of it is how much you decreased your loan balance that you owe the lender. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and then there's our new loan balance, $199,711. Now we're going to do all the same thing over again, except this time using $199,711 instead of $200,000. So we're going to multiply the $199,711 times 4%, and $199,711 times 4% is $79.88. We're just going to keep that, forget the change. So that's our annual interest based on the new loan amount. Now we're going to divide that $79.88 annually by 12. And so the amount that we paid from the second payment, the amount that we paid for interest was $665. Remember, the first payment, it was $667. The second payment is based on a slightly smaller loan amount. Therefore, it's a slightly smaller amount of interest that the lender is making. And it's going to keep doing that every month until finally around the halfway mark, maybe year 15 or 16 out of 30 years, you're going to start paying less of your payment to interest and more of it toward principal every month. But we're only going to be worried about this second month for now. Our payment is the same every month of $956. That doesn't change. The month 2 amount of interest that got paid out of that $956 was $665. That means we reduced the principal that we owe the lender by $291. And we subtract that from the loan balance that we were working with to find out after the second month's payment, our new loan balance that we owe them is $199,429. So we just did the same thing, but with a different loan balance. So let's make up some numbers here and do one together. All right. What's the loan balance after the second month payment? our sale price is $340,000. Our loan to value ratio is 90%. Our interest rate is 3%. Our loan factor is 4.78. I think that's all we need. So remember, this is like a multiple step question. The first thing we need to do is to calculate how much is our monthly principal and interest payment. So step one, what's the monthly principal and interest? What do we need in order to calculate that? We need a loan factor and we need a loan amount, don't we? We're going to get the loan amount by multiplying these numbers together. And that loan amount is, take our 340, multiply it by 90%. That means we're borrowing 306. So we need these two things. We're going to plug them in. Monthly PI is the factor times the loan amount. And don't forget to divide it by 1,000. So if we take that 306 and divide it by 1,000, and then multiply it by the factor itself, that means our monthly principal and interest is $14.62. We'll just leave it the cents off of it for now. $14.62 per month is principal and interest, but we need to know how much of that whole payment is just interest, so that we really need to know how much of it is principal. But in order to do that, we figure out how much of it is interest. And that leads us to the second equation. We're going to figure out monthly interest. The way we do that is to monthly interest. Well, we got to figure out annual interest first, so I don't want to confuse you. Annually, that's the rate. And I told you the rate is 3% times the loan amount. The loan amount is 306,000. We're just multiplying those two things together. So our annual interest is $91.80. We need to turn that into monthly interest. So we divide that by 12. Our monthly is $765. So if our monthly principal and interest is $14.62 and our monthly interest only is $765, what's the monthly, what is the amount that we reduce the principal? And that's going to just be subtracting the monthly payment, subtract that interest from it. So what we ended up bringing the principal down by was $697. You okay with that? So our loan amount started out being 306, but after the first month's payment, we reduced it by $697. And now our new loan amount is 305,303. The loan amount after the first month's payment is $305,303. We're not finished, are we? Because I was a jerk and I said we need to do it after the second month, not just the first. But all we just need to do now is the same thing, except with this new loan balance, instead of the 306, we're going to use 305. So let me a new color. And we're going to go back through all of these same steps. Instead of 306, we're going to use 305, 303. I'm going to divide that by 1,000. Oh, already had it in there. We're going to multiply that by the same loan factor because hang on a second. Sorry. I don't want to mess you up.
So need to divide by 1,000.
Hang on a second. Let me make sure I'm not telling you. Right. Sorry, we don't need to do the step one anymore. We're going to have the same monthly principal and interest. We're going to pick it up with step two. So we're going to go back through and replace this 306 with the new loan balance of 305. We need to calculate the interest after using the new loan amount. So with that 305, 303 times the interest rate is, instead of 91.80, now it's 91.59 based on the reduced loan amount. And that becomes monthly of $763. And so if we paid in the second month interest of $763, we're going to subtract that from the $1,462.
You can't see what you're writing.
I'm sorry. Gosh, I keep forgetting that. Here, let me back up a little bit. So now that we did the first month's and we have a new loan balance after the first month of 303. I'm sorry, 305, 303. We're going to pick it back up with the second step. And we're going to do the same math, except instead of using 306, we're going to use this new loan balance of 305, 303. We're going to multiply that by the 3%. And so instead of paying annual interest of 91.80 like we did after the first payment, this time it's 91.59, which means per month $763. That's how much interest we paid with the second month's payment. So we paid the same payment of $1,462. We just, instead of $697 paid down on the principal, this time it was $699. So now we subtract this $699 from that 305, 303. So our new loan balance after the second month's payment is 304,604.
Wait, where'd you get the $699 again? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I know I've got things all over the place here. The $699, when we came up with our 305, 303, which was the loan balance after the first month, we put that back into this formula for monthly interest down here. We multiplied it by the interest rate. That gave us this number, 91.59. which is annual interest after this in the second month. And we divided it by 12 to get the 763. So we paid out of our $1,462 payment. The second month we paid $763 toward interest. And so when you subtract 763 from that payment amount, that's where we got the 699. We reduced the principal in the second month by $699. Because see, every month you're paying less toward interest, and therefore more of your payments going toward principal. Thank goodness they're only going to ask you up through maybe the second month, possibly only the first month. But if they do ask you the second month, like we did here, all you're going to do is go back to the second step here and plug that new loan balance that you calculated and replace the original loan balance for the new one. This is probably the most complicated math question you could be facing, because it's a combination of 2 or 3 other ones. Do another one?
Yeah, because that time I missed the taking that 765 from the 1462.
Yeah. Let's do another one. All right, this time we're going to have a sale price of $560,000. We'll have an LTV of 75%. We'll have an interest rate of, let's say, 3.5%. We'll have a loan factor of 5.07. What's the loan balance after the second month? After the second month's payment.
I got this. So we need to right now multiply by 700 by 507 or divide.
All right, let's see. Step 1, we're going to calculate our monthly principal and interest. What do we do? What do we need to do to calculate the monthly principal and interest? What's the T formula look like? What's going to be on the bottom?
The loan value and the loan factor.
Yes, the factor. Great. Perfect. And the loan amount. But what's the special thing about the loan amount in this one?
It has to be divided by 1,000.
Perfect. Exactly. Well, because I was mean to you, you don't have the loan amount. We need to calculate it. So what's the loan amount? using the sale price and the loan to value.
420,000.
Yep, looks good to me. Loan amount, 420,000. So we're gonna plug in that 420,000. We plugged in our loan factor, our 420 divided by 1,000 is 420, times it by the factor. That means our monthly principal and interest combined is 2129.40. All right, now what? That's step one. We know our monthly PI. Now we need to know our monthly I. So how do we do that?
The loan value times the interest.
There you got it. Clicking. We got loan amount, the loan value times the interest rate. Our interest rate is 3.5%. Our loan amount is the 420. We're not dividing by 1,000 this time because that's only necessary when we're calculating P and I. So if we take our 420, that means our annual interest is 14,700. We need to turn that into monthly. So our monthly interest is 1225. So
Так,
we'll
значит,
take our
получается
monthly P
Тоже.
and I.
3 и 5.
We'll subtract the monthly interest only from it to get the amount of principal that month.
Divide сделать.
So our principal after the first month came down by $904.40. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, then let's see, minus the interest equals the principal. Now, what does that mean that our new loan balance is? I'm gonna make a little box right here. Our loan balance started out being 420. Now it's less. Now it's 420 minus 904.40. Means our new loan balance is 419. That's terrible writing. 419,095.66. That's our new loan balance after we made our first month's payment. Now we need to do the whole thing again because somebody said it needs to, we need, what's that? What is it after the second month's payment? Well, we're going to go through and do the same stuff, except now with this 419 figure instead of the 420 figure. So step 4 is going to be to replace this 420 with 419. And that means we're going to multiply that by the interest rate again. Which means our annual interest based on the new lower loan amount was 14,668. We're going to need to turn that into a monthly interest, which is 1222.36. We're going to subtract that from the same monthly payment because we're keeping the same monthly principal and interest because it doesn't change. We always have the same monthly payment. 2129.40 was our monthly principal and interest. Subtract that 1222.36. So the second month, after the second month, our principal was reduced by $907.04. So now we need to subtract this $907.04 from that new lower loan balance we were working with. Which was 419,095. So the answer of what is your loan balance after the second month is 418,188.56. That make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Here, I'll give you, we won't do them together. I'll let you kind of do them for homework, and then at some later time, I'll correct, we'll go through, I'll give you the answer. I'll just email you the answer later. But let's do this one. Let me give you a couple. Let's do it this way. Let's see here. Sale price, LTV, interest rate, and loan factor. And you can do a screenshot when I write a bunch of this stuff. So let's do a sale price of 630,000, an LTV of 90%, an interest rate of 3%, loan factor of 4.78. And all of them will be, what's the loan balance after second month? The second one, we'll say is 320,000, a 75% LTV, a 4% interest rate, and a 5.07 loan factor. I'll give you four of them. A third one is $410,000 price, a 60% LTV, a 5.5% interest rate, and a 6.34 loan factor. And then we'll give you $710,000 purchase price, a 95% LTV, a 6% interest rate, and a 7.32 loan factor. You copy those down. I will email you later once I've solved them, have it all nice and written out, and you can check your answers. And if you do these, I feel like you're going to be solid, because I think you already kind of are. But once you do like a whole bunch in a row and you have your little system down, you're like, oh, this is when I do this next thing. Oh, and then now I've got to do this thing. That's when you're kind of golden. I think, that's when it really starts to hit home and make sense. Everybody get them? All right, let's see here. Loan origination fee. Oh, let me screen capture it. Okay, there we go. Loan origination fee is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. What is a loan origination fee, by the way?
Admin fee?
Yeah, just admin. Yeah, they're just charging you a fee, and it's just a percentage based on the loan amount, because again, all lender related fees are pretty much based on the loan amount. So loan origination, the way that test question might be is the lender is charging the borrower a 1.5% origination fee. Sale price is 365,000. at an LTV of 90%. How much is the origination fee? $1.5% origination fee, sale price of $365, loan to value ratio of 90%. How much is that fee in dollars? I'll be right back. All right, what's our first step here? We need the loan amount, don't we?
92,750.
Oh, you got the, okay, that's
Yeah.
the final answer there. So our loan amount, first step is the 328.5, right? We're gonna take our loan amount of 328.5 and multiply it by the origination fee percentage. That means the dollars we're paying in origination fee are $49.2750.
Да. Это ириска. Ирис.
I
Цветок.
can't see Mr. Pender.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I can't see you. Okay.
Just straight up multiplying, but we got to get that loan amount. We have to use the loan amount to calculate it. And again, they might be nice, and instead of giving you a sale price and loan to value, they might just tell you the loan amount is this, but you're ready either way. So now that we know the loan amount, we're just going to multiply it by how much that origination fee is. And so we're having to pay $4,927 for the origination fee. Origination fees, quite often you'll see them be 1%, maybe sometimes a 0.5%, maybe 1.5%, maybe 2%. But I think it's probably either going to be 1 or 0.5%. But what if it says it's a 0.5% origination fee? Same thing, except it's a 0.5% origination fee. Just a little reminder of how to write a half as a decimal. Just 0.5, right? I don't mean to insult you, but sometimes it's the simple things, right? 0.5% times the 328.5. In this case, the origination fee would only be $1,642.50. Good. We also talked about another lender expense called discount points. While the origination fee is probably on every single loan, discount points are not. They're only going to apply if the borrower needs to reduce the amount of interest rate they're paying, making their payment based on. Discount points, what's another word for discount points? Another way to say it.
Prepaid.
Prepaid interest. Yes, ma'am. Prepaid interest, because you're just paying all that interest in one big chunk up front in exchange for them letting you pay your monthly payment at a lower rate. Also known as lender yield. Don't forget this one. Discount points are also called lender yield because the lender is yielding some profit, and this is just straight up profit. Discount points, you're just paying them some money today so that they can charge you the percentage, a lower percentage over time. How much does a discount point cost? One discount point costs what?
1%.
1% of what?
Loan amount.
Of course, because it's a loan related thing. So if we are paying for some reason 2 discount points and the loan amount being borrowed is $450,000, how much do those discount points cost? $9,000, right? 2%, because it's 2 discount points. 2% of what? 2% of the loan amount. Oh, I fooled you. I didn't make you calculate the loan amount. I just gave it to you. What was that?
Oh, I said 9,000, but you had written it up there. I
Okay.
had my calculator in front
Okay,
of
good.
me.
What they'll do a lot of times is to kind of make you do both of them in one problem. And they'll say the lender charges 1% for origination fee. And they're also going to do 3 discount points. Let's say a sale price of $370, the LTV of 75%. How much is the borrower paying for both origination fee and discount points combined? You just have to do both of them and add them together. So origination fee, first of all, we need to calculate loan amount. So we're all old pros at that now. 270 times 75%. 277.5. So we're gonna take our loan amount of 277.5. Multiply it. We need what was it, 1% for origination fee? Okay. That's 27.75. And then we also need it, what did I say, 3? Okay, 3 discount points, so 3%. Which is 83.25. We're gonna total those together. You know, another way you could do it if you want to get crazy is realize 1% for origination fee and 3% for discount points is a total of 4%. So you could just take 4% of that loan amount. You might have already kind of figured that out. And that's 11.1. Let's see if that makes sense here. 277.5 plus 83.25. Oh, there it is again. So there's a couple of different ways you could do it. Because both origination fee and discount points are percentages of the loan amount. All right. We also talked about the whole qualifying ratio thing. And with that, the lender decides if they want to take on the risk of the borrower. And they're going to find out, they want to ask, okay, borrower, we're only going to loan you a maximum of 28% of your monthly income. In other words, no more than 28% of your monthly income should go toward your house payment. That's called the front end ratio. That's PITI. So for principal and interest and taxes and insurance payment on the house, no more than 28% of your monthly income is allowable to be put toward that PITI. But people have more expenses than just their house payment. They also have credit cards and car payments. So when you roll all of that into the equation, the lender says, I don't want you to pay any more than 36% toward your house payment and your car and your credit cards and any recurring monthly debt. So qualifying the buyer with this 28 and 36% ratio thing, what is the minimum monthly income the buyer needs to make in order to qualify for the loan? They will give you the principal and interest, taxes and insurance. In this case, sorry, $1,500 a month is going toward the house payment. And the recurring expenses is another $700. So the total monthly, including house payment and recurring monthly, is $2,200. So with both of these things, we need to now figure out how much does the borrower need to make in gross monthly income in order to qualify for this loan. Well, for the front end ratio of 28%, we take that $1,500 house payment and divide it by 0.28. Let's see here. I'll share with you what I'm writing here in a second. So a way that you could see that first one for the front end ratio is like this as a T formula. The monthly principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is on top. The ratio that it needs to be within is on the bottom, and then the gross monthly income is also on the bottom. So if we know our monthly PITI We're going to divide it by that 28%. That tells us that our monthly income would need to be at least 53, 57 in order for our monthly house payment to be 28% of it. What's 28% of 53, 57? 1,500. That's kind of the way it's, you have to kind of look at that. And then the back end ratio, or the 36% one, we added the 1,500 for the house payment plus the additional 700 for recurring expenses. So 2,200 per month total monthly, or 36% is on the bottom. And again, our gross monthly is there. Bottom. So we're going to take our 2,200 and divide it by 36%, which says to allow for all those $700 more of recurring expenses plus the house payment, your monthly income needs to be 6111. So if if the borrower is making 5,700, what if the borrower is only making $5,700 a month? Do they qualify for this loan? No, they don't, because they're good here, but they're not good here, right? If they make 6,700, do they qualify for this loan?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're good on both. They need at least 61. They got 67. They could go buy another car if they want, but let's not do that until after closing, just to be safe. What if they make 4,500 a month?
No.
Yeah, they're bad either way. They're not good. We need to probably look for a house price that's going to give them a lower monthly payment. We probably also need to knock down some of these other things, like maybe there's a credit card somebody could pay off for you. Maybe there's a car payment. You could sell the car, get a cheap car. So that's kind of the idea here.